Tell the truth Monday. Excited about our football team, excited about the way we played on Saturday. It's a good win for our team. A couple of things about this weekend. Down to 15 seniors on Saturday, man. These guys have played purple and gold. They've worked their tail off. Great young men, great leadership. Last time in Tiger Stadium, I know it's going to be an emotional night for those guys. And it's always a great send-off, a first-class deal. And our guys are looking forward to it. A couple of things about offense that I think I need to mention. First time in SEC history, the team features a 4,000-yard passer, a 1,000-yard rusher, two 1,000-yard receivers on Saturday night. LSU set a school record for total offense in the season last week versus Arkansas. This year's team has racked up 6,172 yards for 11 games. Joe Burrow is the first player in SEC history to have 4,000 yards passing and 40 TDs passing in a season. Clyde has become LSU's latest 1,000-yard rusher. We're so proud of him. And he also has 39 receptions. How about this? That is also the most catches in a season than any tight end in LSU history. And obviously this is all led by offensive line. But Cushenberry and Lewis, those guys have started side by side for 24 excellent games. The reason I said this, when we got hired, this is the offense we wanted to bring to LSU. It took a while. I'm proud of Steve Ensminger and Joe Brady, the whole offensive staff, on what they're doing. On defense, we held Arkansas to 100 yards in the first half. I knew these guys were going to have their jaw set, come out and play well. I thought we finished with an excellent game. Defense had 3 sacks, 11 tackles. It's Arkansas. 6 players had at least tackle for loss. Let's say this. There was a comment I made after the game, and I want to apologize if it came out wrong to Arkansas. I love it. I had a great time up there. I had some good friends up there. By no means that was to demean them. That was just a mood of our football team, and that we have bigger goals down the road. So if I said something wrong, I apologize to them. I know those guys are some good guys up there. Really appreciate those guys. All right, on to Texas A&M. Good football team, well-coached football team. Got good players, and this is going to be a big challenge for our team. And we have to take the emotions out of last year, focus in on this year. This is a different football team. We're playing them at home, but we're going to have to play a complete game to win this game. On offense, they're very multiple, pro style, a little spread style, 419 yards per game. Kellen Mond, Isaiah Spiller, running back, big receivers that gave us problems last year. They're back, they're good, led by Jamon Osborne. A very, very challenging task for our defense. Well, on defense, they're a 4-3 scheme. They're only giving up 20 points a game. All right, 129 rushing, 192 passing. We got an awesome defensive line. Those guys play well. They make plays. Got big linebackers that can run. Team with a lot of talent, well-coached football team. It's going to be one excellent game at Tiger Stadium. I know our fans are going to be there. I can't wait to see them for the Tiger Walk. Our last game in the stadium, we're 11-0, and our fans are proud of us, and I'm proud of our fans. Any questions?
Dating back to last year's game, I mean, that was the one where you got a Gatorade shower there before.
Yeah.
I mean, what are your memories of that, and how that?
Well, just the Gatorade shower was obviously a little premature. Our guys were fired up. We thought we won the game 3 or 4 times. We didn't, obviously, and but that's last year, so we got to let that thing go, and we got to focus on this year. Last year don't matter. There's different players on this team. There's different players on their team. Just like when we played Alabama, those last 8 games didn't matter. This is about this year, about focusing in on this team.
Coach, I'm not sure if I ever heard you speak about what exactly happened on the field last year with Damian Craig and Steve Cragthorpe and all that stuff. I mean, what happened after the game?
Well, it was a mess. It was a mess. That's all I will say about it. Obviously, I wasn't part of it. I went shake hands with Jim Bull. I heard about all this stuff, but everybody knows what happened. It was a mess. It shouldn't have happened, and I'm sorry that it did happen.
Before the Florida game this year, you'd said there'd been some pushing and shoving between the 2 teams in the past before the game. Obviously, with the emotions this high, you don't want those things to happen this time.
I don't want that again. We got our coaches out before we stretch. I don't want that stuff. I want to win the game with the ball of snap.
Coach Henry, what's the plan for Grant Delpit this week? And then after seeing Mo Hampton on film, just your thoughts on how he played?
Yeah, I like that. I like the way Mo played. I think that he did some really good things. The first play was the same play that Ole Miss ran against, and he made a tackle, which was a nice tackle, saved it from making a big play. Grant is full speed. I just talked to Jack. He's going to work out today. He's going to practice every day this week. I think the rest help.
Yeah, I didn't have a chance to ask you on Saturday, but the celebration penalties, I guess.
Yeah.
Is there an explanation for that? Something you want to tell the guys going forward? And can you explain to me, is there a rule that maybe no one knows about?
I was talking to somebody outside. Never thought that I'd have to tell our offense for celebration, but scoring so much points. It's a good habit. It's a good problem to have. But our guys got to calm it down a little bit. I talked to Clyde. They do their little dance in there, and I'm gonna find out what's the rule. I think you can do it as long as it's not excessive. But I guess they thought that it was excessive.
Last year you guys had that, on the way back from that game, you had that fog issue and flew to New Orleans and were trapped there. I guess what do you remember from that whole part of the trip?
Yeah. I actually forgot that. Thank you for reminding me. And we just felt, like I said at the game, we felt helpless. I seen Jones getting 3 IVs. Our guys hurt. They gave everything they had. I don't know how many hours we played for. And we just felt helpless. And we just felt that when our time comes, we're going to do something about it. And now's the time.
And I'm curious, how long did it take for your shirt to dry after the Gatorade day?
I don't know. There's so many things happening right there. Like in the game, you got to shake it off, man. But I stunk pretty well after the game, I tell you.
And did anybody time you? You ran about 40 yards to call a timeout a couple times in those overtimes. Did anybody time your 40 on that?
No, but the second one, I almost pulled a hamstring, and that would not look good on TV.
Yeah. This week, maybe the message to your team was played so well that we take the game out of everybody else's hands, unlike last year when it was decided kind of in somebody else's hands.
Yep. Say that again, Ron.
Would you maybe tell your team, let's play so well that we decide this game and nobody else decides to take it out of, officials' hand, well, let's play that way.
That's a good point. I'm gonna mention that. That's a good point. And I told them that after the game. I said, although those things happen, we got to look at the plays that we could have made. The plays we did, let's face it, we didn't play well on defense. I watched the film again this morning. There's a lot of things that we got to get better at starting the day. They're very challenging. They're very well coached.
Coach, over here to your right, are you a fan of the current college football overtime format?
Well, I haven't gone through it, so we'll see. I think that it's a little bit better, obviously. We'll see how it works. I haven't gone through it, and I haven't seen many instances where people are doing it. So,
2 questions. Just the schedule this week. Do you feel that you need to get more in a shorter amount of time because of the holiday?
we're going to have a regular Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Wednesday night, we're going to have a Thanksgiving dinner at our nutrition center, and we'll meet 7 o'clock on Thursday morning and have a regular Thursday practice. So as far as the players, they're not going to miss anything. I think it puts a little crunch on the coaches on Wednesday night to watch the film, prepare for a Thursday meeting, but our guys are used to doing that. So.
And then just Kellen Mond as a quarterback over there. I don't know where he is as far as their expectations, but what do you see out of him as a quarterback that could he potentially be?
He's dangerous. He's dangerous. Last year he had a lights out game against us, running the ball, throwing the ball, big receivers, great scheme. I think this is one of the better players we're going to see all year.
Ed, with Joe Burrow, how big of a difference is making a game to eliminate incompletions? Like from him last year to this, just his percentage is so high. How does that help in the game and make a difference?
Well, it helps the flow of the game. It helps the flow of the game. It keeps the clock moving. It helps us control the clock. When it's incompletion, the clock stops. And we want to control the time of possession. So that helps us there a lot. It helps us gain yards, obviously, move the football, and it looks sharp. But I think it's a combination of skill, no question. It's a combination of intelligence. It's a combination of his coaching and the connection he has with his receivers.
I mean, there's several quarterbacks that are above 70% in this season. I mean, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, that's probably not the case. Why do you think people are more accurate now?
Yeah, I think the short passes, the short passing games. People are in the spread. They're in the shotgun. There's a lot of quick throws. There's a lot of good reads. You get empty. They got to tell you what they hit, man, it's zone. You can figure it out real quick. So I think the spread offense has helped that.
Hey, Coach, no way to get Joe Burrow one more year here, right?
I can try. I don't think so. I don't think it's gonna happen.
His last game, a guy that's only been here 2 years, probably no one's made a bigger impact in a shorter period of time. Just, you can speak to that.
Yeah, you know, first of all, like I said, I don't know, you know, you say these things and maybe they come out wrong. I think he's one of the most top important recruits that LSU's had in a long time. I'm not saying that he is the most, and I don't rank and all that stuff. But for what he's done for our program, I knew that, you know, I grew up watching Bert Jones. I saw Tommy Hudson. I saw the great quarterback that LSU had. And we always wanted a great one, and we got one. And so I'm happy for that. I'm happy that we could put in the offense that we finally wanted at LSU. We broke all kind of records, and it's our first year in it. So I feel like we're just getting started. I feel like we're going to get quarterbacks. I don't know if they're going to be as good as Joe, but that can operate within the system. We'll get receivers. They can operate within the system, and we're going to continue on.
And how has Adrian McGee matured over the course of his career? And how did you see him respond when midway through the season Ed Orgeron comes back? He's been able to keep his job in the starting lineup so far.
I would grade him a 10 in maturity, the way he's matured. I coached him. I was a scout team coach. Me and him I coached him for a year, and he came here, good kid. You know, just had to learn how to work a little harder, and he just kept on working and working and working. And I give him a 10 in maturity. I think that his character is very high. He's worked very hard. He's played left guard, left tackle. Sadiq Charles is going to be back at left tackle. Ex-coach, when he wanted to start, he said, I want Adrian McGee to start at left guard. And he was a good player. So he has competed, and he has earned that position, and I'm happy for him.
The coach here in the middle had to laugh during the game. The guys calling the game were asking why you still had guys in the secondary at the end of the game and why you didn't have other people in there. And you even joked a few weeks ago about trying to recruit offensive players to play in the defensive backfield. How much of a concern is that? Where are you going forward?
We're very thin back there. Very thin. We didn't have many players to put back in because of injuries and of other things. So we have to keep them healthy. We're not able to do the things that we want to do on defense in some packages with some substitutions. We just got to make the best of it.
Joe Burrow mentioned on Saturday that the way that the offense had to produce in that game last year, because you guys had no choice but to score with continuous overtimes, that perhaps that kind of unlocked a little something as you guys, made the offense change. Do you feel like that offense grew up that night?
No question. Yeah, and it set the tone for the bowl. I think that the performance of that offense that night, the performance of Joe, I thought it was phenomenal, the way he operated and he ran the ball. He gave everything he had. He tried to put the team on the shoulders and win the game. And it just built, that momentum built into the practices. I thought we had some great practices. We put in some new routes, we put in a couple of new protections, and then I thought in the bowl game, it was lights out.
Coach, over here, a couple of things. How big a rivalry, in your opinion, is this, one? And two, are these kind of games important as far as keeping a fellow SEC West rival out of your backyard when it comes to recruiting?
Sure. I think it's a rival. I'm not an LSU expert to say what's the best rival, what it is, but our guys, and we beat them for a long time, and they beat us last year, and it hurt. And so they have a good team. Coach Fisher's a good coach. He's been here. We all know about him. This is competitive. So they have great players. We have great players. They have great coaches. It's going to be a heck of a game, and it is. Yes, we need to beat the other schools and to help us in recruiting, and also help us recruiting in Houston. Houston's one of our biggest area in recruiting. So we beat Texas, and beat Texas A&M helps us.
Sorry if you've answered this at some point during the year, I just don't remember. Could you explain the strategy behind fair catching every kickoff?
Yeah. Well, it just, you get it in the 25, and we think it's a good sport, a starting spot. We feel that most of the time when you catch it, you're on the 5 or the 1, and you're probably going to get to the 20 or 25, so fair catching is on the 25.
Two questions again. Regardless of how many games you win, this will be the last time this team plays in Tiger Stadium
Yeah.
this year. There's sometimes emotions that go along with that, but also, is there a message to the fan base that this is your chance to get out and see this team?
Yeah, no question. Thank you for saying that. We need the crowd. I come back to the Georgia game last year. That crowd won the game for us. Go back to the Florida game. That crowd won the game for us. Auburn game. You know, the crowd is our most important factor in these games. And the louder they get, the earlier they get up in the morning, the more they get prepared. I love the way they get prepared on Saturday. Just prepare as much as you can. It's Thanksgiving. Let's enjoy it. And come in there and let's make it the loudest we possibly can, because there's no looking back. I mean, the point where we at right now, there's no looking back. Every game is the biggest game.
And then secondly, with the implementation of so many spread offenses around the country, does it change the way you look at the running back position and the versatility that's now expected out of that
You
position?
know, Clyde's perfect for it. You know, the little running back, the scat back, especially the back that can catch the ball out of the backfield. The big bruising tailback, not to say that he can't play in this offense, but it just doesn't fit.
Two questions. One, is Sadiq available for the rest of the season there? And just how have you, from injuries to coaching decision, how have you approached like managing the roster throughout the season?
Well, first of all, you know, you have things that occur. You have to make a plan. We don't blink, whatever it is. And Sadiq's available this game. That's all I can say. I know for sure he's going to be available this game, and hopefully he's available the rest of the season. But we got to take that one game at a time. So we managed the roster. I think Coach Craig has done a tremendous job. We didn't blink. Darryl Rosenthal's come in and played well for us. Bedard Char played well for us. Adrian McGee. So those guys have come in and played well. So I just got to give the credit to Coach James. Great.
Coach, Scott Woodward obviously came here from Texas A&M. Just curious, in the 6-7 months, what have been your guys' discussions of making this the new normal, and just your thoughts about the program heading into the future?
Yeah, he's been great. He comes every day. He knows more about recruiting than most people I've met. He talks to me every Sunday. We talk about the game. He's in the locker room. He's very supportive. He talks to the players, talks to the coaches. He's been phenomenal. Ever since the day he's coming here, he's been an asset, been phenomenal. Everything I've asked him for, which hasn't been much, he's given it to us. In order to be successful, he wants to win just like we do.
Yeah, over here. Just one quick thing. I realize that you're saying in terms of personnel and film study to leave last year's game behind. It's new stuff this year. But maybe your experience that a little bit of emotion can also be helpful in a sport like football. So to what extent, what are the things that you do want them, if anything, to hold on from last year, whether it's the feeling coming off the field or what?
Well, the internal motivation is always good, regardless of where you get it. These guys will be internally motivated and play well in this game. I know they will. But they also understand that doesn't win games. That you have to go out there and perform. You have to take care of the football, take care of your fundamentals, and execute. So we're going to be sky high, but we can't be too high to where we commit a bunch of penalties and all that stuff. But it's going to be an emotional game because of what happened last year, because of where we're at right now. We're 11-0. We want to finish the season undefeated. We know what's ahead of us. It's our last game in Tiger Stadium. So, hey, that's why you play football, to enjoy it. That's why you coach. It'll be very emotional Saturday night. I can't wait.
Joe mentioned that at one point you guys ran out of 2-point plays because of how long the game went. I guess how taxing was it on the coaches?
Yeah, his finger was on the headset. Anybody got a 2-point play? In fact, because of that game, I put a period in on every Thursday. 2-point plays and trick plays. So we practice 2-point plays. We try to get 2-point plays off of NFL teams. You know, the spring league they had, there were a lot of nice little trick plays and stuff like that. So we have a repertoire now, and we have enough. If we get in the battle, that we're gonna be ready. That's it? That's good?
One more right here.
T-Bob, be quiet, so.
T-Bob, you wanna go?
Mandalorian.
It was impossible to watch football Saturday without hearing conversation about the Heisman Trophy. And most of it was, how can player X catch Joe Burrow?
Yep.
I know you haven't talked much about individual awards, but you've been on staffs where guys have won the Heisman.
Yep.
From your experience, how important, or is it important for promotion for the award, for campaigning for an award like that?
Yeah, I'm for it. I'm for it. As much as we can do for Joe, I'm for it. We don't do it inside the meeting room, but myself personally, I know in my heart he's the best player in the country. I think he ought to win it. I'm biased, but that's how I feel. It's gonna be great for the university. It'll be great for Joe. He deserves it. And the best thing about Joe, he don't want to talk about it. He just wants to talk about the next game. So he's a very unselfish player, but very deserving of the award.
All right, Coach. Jacob Phillips. I think he's second in the SEC in tackles. I saw a tweet from Cody. I think he's only missed like 2 tackles the entire year. We don't talk about him a lot. What has Jacob Phillips meant to this team?
Man, you know, we started off, it was Jacob Phillips and Patrick Queen and Mike won the competition. And I'm so proud of those guys, man. They stuck together. You know, in this transfer portal world and all this stuff, things don't go your way. Some kids leave, those kids were gonna sit there and compete, and they did. I think it worked out for all 3 of them, to be honest with you. But Jacob Phillips is, you know, we had to replace Devin White, and I think that him and Patrick Queen both have played very well most games this year. I think he has a lot of football ahead of him.